Durham grant, so I know that it's really important that we have accessible events for everyone to go to. So I feel the social events I've proposed, I don't think they should be particularly big ones, but enough to bring the entire community together, and ones that we can run fairly cheaply. For example, I know the exec are meeting this Sunday to discuss about their purchase of silent disco headsets. Once we have those, we can do cheap silent discos, and maybe even free, and those will be accessible to a huge number of people. And like social events don't just have to be huge. We have things like the Castle Hike, just have regular ones of those. They don't cost any money, and people can come on them for free. And anyone can socialise during that time. I also think it's important that actually we assess how we run our balls. I think we have a great opportunity, now we have the new positions of social chair and ball chair, to streamline our balls and see where we can cut costs, not at the expense of the ball, but to allow us to sell tickets at a cheaper price. So for example, at the moment in the ENTS committee, we're reassessing how many workers we actually need for the night, which means we have less workers and therefore we can make tickets cheaper for everyone to attend. Thank you.
So as someone who's been involved in kind of 2 non-ball events in college this year, both at CCFS and at Panto, I'm incredibly aware of the demand and the pressure that there is on current directors to keep costs low, and I think directors are currently looking at how they are working things. I know we've had increased transparency with Edo over things like where the ladies' night money has gone, and I think maintaining this transparency, maintaining this pressure on directors to keep prices low is a good option. However, I think that it's important to stress that accessibility is something that's incredibly important, but I think we need to look at where we're creating the accessibility. I'm not necessarily sure that an £8 Panto ticket is where an accessibility issue comes from. However, I think that we need to look at things like an 130 quid due ball price. What I mean by this is I think that we should look at schemes such as an ENTS card or an ENTS pay-in system for students from lower income background, where they pay a set amount at the beginning of the year and they effectively get a reduced price or reduced priced entry to these kind of bigger social events that are more of a social demand to attend and more of a financial burden on individuals. So I think that's one way of looking at things. In terms of the new social calendar, I'm very keen that this falls under the jurisdiction of the social chair. I think there was a promise when the social chair vote was made that whatever the role of the social chair is up to the incoming social chair to decide. So whoever's the incoming social chair needs to decide what events they want, needs to decide when they're going to do hands, and needs to decide how this is going to happen. I, as a senior man, am not going to sit with a calendar and plan the events of the social chair, senior student, not going to plan the events that a social chair wants to run, but they are accountable for making sure they're accessible, accountable for making sure that budgets are transparent, and accountable for making sure that they're run in the most cost-effective way possible, which I personally, and I think the JCR should hold them accountable for. So in answer to your question, I'm not necessarily sure the solution is creating 10 more events. I'm not necessarily sure the solution is having a 4th or 5th ball, but I think the solution is to make sure we work alongside, as was highlighted in Mark Shaw's focus group, we work alongside current students to make sure that prices that are currently here are more accessible for those from lower income backgrounds.
Thank you very much. I'll limit it to, we're nervous for time, 2 more questions. Sarah.
How do you plan to effectively balance your time between the demanding role of senior student and securing a good degree next year? When have you demonstrated effective time management?
So to be honest, the last 18 months of being here in Durham has been a balancing act. And actually, it's gone very well due to careful planning and strategy. So I participated in over 10 extracurricular activities here whilst doing a degree and being actively involved in college life. And I found that's been absolutely fine, and it has not been at the expense of my degree. Sometimes things do get hectic. For example, you have times where so I run, so I have a race, then I have this, then I have halfway hall coming up, and it needs careful planning and consideration. But if you take the time to do that, I think you shouldn't have any problems with balancing the role and your other commitments, particularly academic ones.
So this was something that I was very cautious of when signing up to be senior student, and actually I have decided to drop all other commitments next year, which kind of shed a tear that I probably won't be doing CCFS again, but also I really do want to make sure that if I was voted in, that I would be committing 110%, considering other colleges have sabbatical positions. You know, it's clearly something that other colleges feel that you can't do alongside a degree. So when have I demonstrated this? Last year I did extremely well, having participated, I'm not going to say it, but I did well. Considering I did numerous extracurricular activities, I was involved in all aspects of college life, kind of working along on the Toasty Bar as well. So I really have demonstrated that I am capable of knowing when to prioritise different things, knowing that my studies are my studies, and also being a PP student, I have, 6 contact hours a week, so that'll be fine.
Yeah, for those that know me, it's no particular secret. I didn't do particularly well last year academically. Obviously, there's personal circumstances on that as well, but the main thing is I didn't work. And then when it came to resits, I worked hard and passed. So to me, that was a big hit where I needed to learn the level I pitched my studies at, and I learned that the hard way. But now I know it's not an issue this year. I'm chugging along nicely, and I'm gonna get the grade I'm happy with. At the end of the day, I'm here in Durham. I'm here for a degree, but for me, I'm here for the extracurricular stuff. I'm here to give my all to college. So I'm quite happy to get 2-1, get 2-2, but make sure I'm giving my time to everything else. So that's something that I can balance as well. I'm not going to be going, I'm on the brink of a first, I need to give all my time to that. In terms of time management, last year I did lots and lots of stuff, and I've dropped plenty of that this year to kind of continue the role of Vice Bar Chair. And if I've got the role of Senior Student next year, there's other stuff as well that I can continue to drop. So I want to focus my time on that. To me, time management isn't just about kind of what you're doing at the moment, how you're going to balance degree work, senior student work. It's about planning ahead your time, thinking in advance. So, for example, the fact that we're now thinking about Oktoberfest, which is happening in June, things like when we want to do bar hires, we're doing the hire here, we're doing the interviews here, so applications open here. It's about that for me, planning my time, and I've shown that throughout this year with my bar work, making sure that I know it's about scheduling your stuff and knowing when to do senior student work, knowing when to do physics, but also make sure you know when to have a bit of downtime and breathe a little bit and have a night off. So for me, I've shown that this year, getting a good balance and making sure I've improved on the issues I found last year, and I've learned that the hard way, but I've done so much better this year from that.
One final question. I'm good at this. Sorry.
This is from me and Pookie. How do you think a senior student can best support, like, the college welfare team? The college welfare team.
I think it's important to note that the JCR has decided this year to interview their incoming welfare and campaigns officer, and I think because of this, it's very important to note that the role of senior man is not to dictate to welfare what to do. It's not to tell welfare that they're not doing what they should be doing, because fundamentally whoever will be the incoming welfare officer will have a year's worth of experience and will have been chosen by college office for a particular reason that I could never claim that I've been chosen for. So I think my role would be to understand that welfare fulfills its purpose, acts as kind of a separate component from the exec in the fact that they provide a service, whereas the exec does not as a whole. And I think that I would just make sure that I was supporting welfare, making sure that if there were issues surrounding the DSO, issues surrounding training, any issues internally with college, that I would be a voice that would stand up for them, and a voice that would support them, but I would definitely, and also like to emphasise, not be someone that would tell welfare what to do, because that's not my role.
To me, I see the role of senior student not as a boss or as a manager going, Henry, you do this now, Pookie, you do this now, but as a leader. And like Z mentioned, as they have been over the past few years, but certainly next year in this interview, the welfare campaigns officer are going to be very, very fit for that role. And I'm not the person who should be applying for welfare, so I can't know what to do. What I can do is say, I think this is something that best suits your role rather than the outreach role or the bar chair's role or the treasurer role. So as a senior student, all I can do is kind of put tasks on them and say, would you mind on this? But other than that, I shouldn't have any say going, you need to do this now, you need to do this. But it should just be about facilitating the events, the campaigns that Henry's running, the training everything Pookie's running. We need to make sure we're facilitating that. If they say the bar won't do this, college office won't allow this, the DSU won't do this, then it's the senior student's job who's going to be interacting with those people to back them and vouch for them and say they should be doing that. Like I mentioned in the previous response, with regard to the DSO, I think there should be more training there. Training in general, for example, it is treasurer training, but also the main thing is the welfare training. And the people in college, it shouldn't just be open for it could be anyone can come and have some active listening training. I think all the bar staff should be trained in that, active bystanding, because there's so much you see in the bar and you just don't know how to deal with that because you've just not been trained. So just facilitate anything the welfare officer and campaigns officer think is appropriate for college.
So welfare is so important to a college such as Castle. I think that the strength of a community really depends on the welfare of its members. And therefore, I really, in the role of senior student, want to promote the welfare team and everything they do. I think they should really be appreciated within college, and they offer such amazing support. The thing is, like the others, I wouldn't want to interfere with this. I'm not an expert on welfare. I haven't been to all the hundreds of training sessions that you put tirelessly put hours into, and so I think it's best if you're left to your own devices, however supported by the role of senior student. And if you need something, if you need an event, if you need anything, I promise that I will campaign tirelessly to help welfare achieve those ends.
Thank you very much. I think that concludes for today. Could you pass through your names one more time?
I'm Rupert.
I'm Aziza.
I'm Charlie.
And could we have a round of applause for her? Annie has a few things to say quickly before we round up.
Hi guys, just to say thank you so much for coming. It's been a great turnout. Hopefully, as you're all aware, there are also going to be hustings this time in a week for Vice Senior Student and Development Officer, and then again the following week for USO, Outreach and Services. So it'd be lovely if you could, to see you all there again, or like bring your friends along as well. As you can see, it's a really important platform for making sure we choose a really good exec for next year. Also, congratulations to all of you. I thought that was a brilliant hust. Just to let you know, voting is now open. I will post the link on Castle Freshers and also send it out by email. You've got 24 hours to vote, and we will be publishing the results on Friday morning. But also, as is tradition, you guys will do your paddle or yard alongside the incoming BSS and Dev next Thursday. So if any of you are on Valentine's formal, hope to see you down in the Undy, and we'll cheer in the new part of the new exec. So thank you guys.